Hey, how
What's going on?
you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
You-
Blessed and highly favored.
I know. Are you staying safe?
Yeah, you already know. I ain't been outside in like a month.
Because some of these people is not taking it serious. They still be having like get-togethers in their house. I'm like, what do you guys? That is not the purpose. It's not like hang out with people you know. It's not
Right,
hanging out
right.
with people unless they live in your house.
Right, it's crazy. It's like you gotta look at everybody like they got it and they trying to give it to you and you got it and you ain't trying to give it to them.
What's the vibe like out in LA?
Like for like Corona.
Yeah.
Oh, so like everything is closed. Like you can't go to anywhere except for the grocery store and like pharmacies and banks. And yeah, so it's like I think I went outside like once, like 3 weeks ago, because I had a dentist appointment, and it was still during this stuff. But you, it was like everything was closed, like all the shops and stuff. So I don't think people were doing much, but it's still sunny LA. So I'm sure people are like hiking or going to the beach and stuff.
Yeah, because I know like in the cities, like the parks, and some of the parks are still open, but you can't, like here, I'm in Georgia and like you can't go to some of the parks, but I don't know if they close like, some of the like super famous trails in California that people always go to because there's so many
Oh,
people.
oh yeah, nah. Like I still like I seen somebody at Runyon like 2 days ago, like on the Instagram thing. So I think because it's open, somebody actually asked me that question. They're like, "Hey, I'm about to come to LA. Is everything closed, or can I go to the beach?" I think because the beach is like open space, it's not like closed off. I think that you're still able to do that and running too. It's just like an open hike. So yeah, I think people are definitely still hiking.
Yeah. Well, thank you for chatting with me. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I feel like I've been trying to link up with you for like, we tried to meet up last year, and then when I came to LA I tried to link up with you, but then the timing didn't work, so I'm like, you know what, let's just do kind of like a virtual chat. I mean, this just makes the most sense.
Yeah, that's best. I definitely was. I don't know what happened when I was in Buffalo because I was mad at myself
You
and I was like,
definitely left me hanging. That's just what
"What,
happened.
singing?"
Yeah.
Nah, it was something that happened that day, and I had to cancel a bunch of things. It was something that happened. But I was just like I was mad at myself because I like pride myself on like being on time and showing up and being impeccable with my words. So
Yeah,
yeah, sorry that didn't happen.
it's okay. It all happens. It happens sometimes to the best of us. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to chat with you and kind of see what, because I work in production behind the scenes. So I talk to mainly like all of our crew members to kind of see what the situation has been like for them. But you are in front of the camera as an actor. It's probably very similar, but I just still kind of want to hear what the experience is like for you. So I know briefly that you were getting ready. Hold on, let me put this on a different view. I know from your like Instagram and stuff, you were getting ready to do one of the Power spinoffs.
Hmm.
And obviously all production shut down. So what kind of has life been like for you since everything kind of has been shut down?
Oh, okay. I actually shot it already. Like I actually was shooting the episodes already. Like
Oh, so
um
you finished all of your stuff.
yeah, I was filming that since like December. Um
Ah,
I think I couldn't really like announce it
yeah.
like as well as the other people that was like series regulars. But when I like posted it, it was like my last day or whatever. So I was just like whatever. Um it has but that they haven't finished the whole series. Like they gotta they I think they're working on like a at least like 10 episodes or something like that. And they had to stop their production in New York City because of the corona. I
Mhm.
think it was scheduled to come out in June, but that may be pushed back because they didn't film everything, which sucks. But I guess anticipate like late summer or fall, like whenever this stuff is over, nobody can really predict it.
Yeah.
As far as being an actor in LA, like it definitely halted all productions. I remember when this first started, like it was like I was like nobody knew what to expect. Like we didn't know how serious it was, and then I was like, oh, I just started like this host. I just started this hosting gig at BuzzFeed, and I'm gonna be a content creator. Literally after I finished this first week of training, they're like, all right, we got to put everything on hold for the Corona stuff. And I'm like, oh damn. I'm like, oh, is it that serious? And then I remember I was auditioning for like I auditioned for like 3 commercials, and I booked it like the next week, and they were like, and then everything was like the news got worse and they canceled everything. And I was just so mad. I was like, wow, why are people like You know, why are
It's
people overreacting to this thing? Because it was so new to us.
yeah.
And I was just like, I was just upset. But now I see the severity of it over time. Like, oh, people are actually dying. Everybody's getting it. Like, we didn't know what to expect at first. But it like shut down everything. And what I do understand is that when this is over, all these shows that they were supposed to film, like, it's it should be a booming production. I just imagine that they have so much stuff that they have to shoot and like catch up on, that they're gonna be hiring everybody. They're gonna need so many roles. It's gonna be crazy. You know, I used to be mad. I was mad. I was auditioning for pilots and I didn't get them. But then I'm like, oh, if I would have got that, then it would have been on halt anyways. And who knows? Like, we might be on like hiatus so long that when it's over, they might not even want to shoot that pilot no more. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works out here.
It's also so much logistical stuff that they have to work out, because the things that maybe they had scheduled with other actors is now pushed too. And so now I feel like they got to figure out, like, to book all the stages, figure out all the actors' schedules who maybe have been working on other productions. Like, I feel like you're right. It's going to be so much stuff, but I feel like it's also going to be so crazy trying to kind of manage everything and figure out like when they can film certain stuff, just because everything is like going to be starting up at the same time.
Right. It's gonna be slow because they're gonna be like, it's
They
gonna be weird to have
prioritize.
like, you know how big sets is, like to have hundreds of people working on a set after this. You know, they definitely, I can imagine they're working. I've seen a couple commercials like, we're trying to shoot this but with less than 10 people crew or something like that. I feel like it's gonna get weird like that, and Hollywood is like the main thing that you need, like so many people to shoot like one thing. It's crazy. Like, I really hope that, I mean, entertainment is like the largest industry. That's what people consume right now. But I really hope that it's like a pro. I really hope that it just comes back strong, because it'll really suck if, it'll be a while for everybody.
It's not that I didn't take it serious, but I think, and I speak maybe for many of us, that we didn't really expect it to hit home the way that it did. It's like, okay, we saw it happen in other places. And when I was in Buffalo, they were doing the Nightmare Alley film in Toronto. And so that was the first time I was on a production where I started to get emails where they were talking about the coronavirus, because they had some cases in Toronto, but still nothing in Buffalo, or there
Yeah.
wasn't that many.
When was that?
This was all of February.
Okay.
And there wasn't even that many cases in New York City that they had announced. And so I'm like, all right, this is whatever. I got to Atlanta the first week of March, and I got here on the weekend, everything was fine. Literally by that Monday, I think the 9th, is when everything started to change, like day by day. By Wednesday, me and the rest of the office was convinced, like, oh, Hollywood is about to get shut down, because every single day it was just like more news. Like, California was getting crazy, New York City was getting crazy. I was like, okay, this is actually a big deal now. I'm like, are we really gonna like not be working? Like, I was just terrified. I had no idea what was gonna happen. So I feel like nobody really expected it to be this bad.
Nah, not at all. Like, it's crazy. Like, first we was like, oh, black people can't get it. I was saying something like that. I seen all these white people getting it. I was like, oh, we good. We immune. Shout out to God. You know what I mean?
We're dying the most.
Right. It's like it switched quick. It was like when that NBA player, I think his name Rudy, when he got it, it was like, but he's half black, half white. People were like on something like that. But then it was like the brothers was getting in. It was like, all right, yeah, we got it. Idris got it.
Those memes like, oh, I'm going to Africa, we can't get it. And I'm like, all right. And now it is not like that at all. I mean, even for us, for people to think that was just dumb and funny, but it was hilarious at the time.
You know, black people, we make a joke out of anything.
That's just kind of how we gotta cope. So on the side of like development stuff for you though, are you guys like still negotiating anything? Are you still in contact with like different agents or casting directors? Like, I know physical production has halted, but is there still work being done behind the scenes as far as like within development?
Absolutely. So what I've been seeing from casting, it seems like every casting just decided, hey, we're going to host open calls, and everybody's been all these casting directors been posting on their like social medias, like send us a monologue or send us your best self tape. And it seems like I've seen like a trend of that within the last like 2 weeks. And so I submitted to a couple of them. In my mind, I'm just like, I'll do it because I already have something recorded, but I'm not like the most optimistic about it because I've been on Hollywood for six years now, and I've done so many open calls, and then I just realized like was not worth your time. You got thousands and thousands of people submitting to this. Sometimes they don't even plan on calling people in, you know.
Go with somebody they end up knowing.
Right. I did an open call for like BET like 2 years ago. They had us. We was in line. I think they opened at 9 a.m. We was in line since midnight, and it was like open call. It was like the top casting directors, Robbie Reed and Leah Daniels Butler, and all these people who cast all this stuff. And we was in line for like 8 hours and thousands of people. And then when we get in there, we think we all about to do a monologue. Like it was like some American Idols type shit. It was like you was in a big ass audience in front of. Sorry, can I cuss?
Yes.
Oh, you was in a big ass audience in front of everybody, and you stand on stage and you have to do your monologue in front of everybody. I thought it was like limited, but then it started off like you got 1 minute, but then it was like 15 seconds. They just cut people off, and then I'm just like, you about to see all these people in 15 seconds, and it's like you don't, you know what I mean? So I really don't like the idea of open calls. I think it helps. It's just promotion for whatever they're promote. It's just promotion for them. I realized that when you
at all.
yeah, because I always see the open calls, right? And then when I see the final product, it's a celebrity. So I'm like, you mean to tell me I had the same chances Michael B. Jordan? You
Me?
know?
I don't think so.
Yeah, like how did y'all end up having open calls and y'all cast Little Romeo? You know, like I'm like, and that's what I realized. And I'm like, oh, this is just the hype. I see they was recording it with the cameras, like people auditioning for the open calls, and I did so many of that. I did when Master P had a movie. I think he was making, this is like when he was trying to do How to Get a Hookup a couple years ago. Like it's like 4 years ago. They was having open calls and they was recording the process of it. And I'm like, oh, this is just promotion for this. Like, I don't know if people actually get cast off of that, but that's what I've seen casting doing. And then the other thing, I've been seeing people do castings for virtual at home stuff, like film it yourself stuff. Like, hey, we're shooting this and we want you to record it with your iPhone. So I have been seeing a few of those.
I think when people think of actors, we think of, the people who are in, I would say, like the top 10%, like the people who are like continuously booking roles, the famous people. But not all actors are consistently, making money or have money where it's like they can just sit at home for a month. So have you seen, like in your circle or just other actors that you might know of, is there any kind of like relief for actors, or are they still getting, paid from any type of, projects that they booked on? What's kind of the situation for you guys with that?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So we actually SAG-AFTRA, they actually sent like me and a couple people I know like a couple $1,000. Like they've been looking out. They have an actors relief fund. I mean, it's definitely standard required like guidelines and requirements. You have to have been acting for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, it's some quota, but they have came through, and I can say shout out to SAG for that. What else? What was the other part of your question? What was the other part of your question?
Any other kind of relief that you're seeing for actors?
Oh yeah, and like I'm lucky that like I had this like I got like some commercials airing right now, and I just got like all these residual checks and stuff like that. So it's a blessing, like especially like during this time. Apparently, like I did this Domino's commercial, and then like uh apparently there was like a surge in fast food because of in delivery for Corona, and then they sent me like $50,000.
Because they started airing more?
Yeah, they was airing it more. Like they aired it like nonstop, and I was like, I got paid every time it airs, and it was like, oh shit. And yeah, so they sent me like 50K, and I was like, damn, like it's crazy how something like this can be like both beneficial and like
It's beneficial for, like you see, it's beneficial for some people. I mean, I don't know how to say this because then I feel like it's going to sound so bad and I don't want it to come off this way. But a lot of times, even in really bad situations like this, it always seems like it's still like the people who are, always doing really well, like for some reason they still seem to come out doing just fine, realistically. But the people who were already struggling or already having a hard time, it affects them the most. Like even a damn pandemic that affects everybody, the people who are doing great, like they still are like thriving in some kind of way. Like what do you think about that?
Right. That's a great question. I actually think it's because I've always been frugal, like with everything, and so I've always saved money, right? And I always like kind of save for a rainy day. And I think that if you grow up with that mindset, even no matter how much money you get, like if you keep saving for a rainy day and you good with money, then something like this won't affect you as much. But I think that people who was living paycheck to paycheck, dependent upon businesses, and I mean their corporate wherever they work and stuff, it affects them, because they thought it was just never going to stop. Like I'm friends with actually a couple famous like artists and musicians, like really famous people, and I was talking to them over the past weekend. They make all their money off of touring, and they were like, "Damn, I just bought this $6,000 Chanel bag. I just bought this and this." And I didn't think that, and all my shit got canceled for the rest of the year, and I didn't think that it was gonna stop, coming in. And I think that if you always preparing for a rainy day, and of course, rich people just have a natural advantage. Like they made millions of dollars, so even if they gigs get canceled,
They
they're gonna be good with money regardless. But what they doing right now? It's like Warren Buffett got a quote. It says, "Be fearful when people are greedy, and be greedy when people are fearful." So I've been putting all my money in the stock market. Like
Mhm.
stocks has been going crazy, and rich people right now, like average everyday people, they panicking, they selling their stocks. Stocks is going down. These companies gonna go back up in a matter of no time. Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and rich people, they put all their money in it. Amazon just went up like $800. If you would have bought one share of Amazon, you would have had $800 in the matter of like 2 weeks. And that, so it's just like them like people who are really good with money, they're investing their money, and this is the perfect time. I think this is the perfect time actually, if you have a little bit of capital, to like really take advantage of it. You know.
Mhm. I also think there's a misconception though, and I'll say this, that people think people who have a ton of money are great with money. But that's not necessarily always the case. It's like they just have a lot of money, so their lifestyle, they're able to, do more. But like that don't mean they save in like 30%, 40%. It's like they probably getting their money and just spending it. And so it's not always like, obviously you need to make a certain amount of money to manage your lifestyle. But I think like it really comes down to just being smart with what you have until you can build and have more money coming in. Like you can make 1 million, be broke, and just spend it all buying reckless stuff. So I think you really got to be smart. And if anything, this time shows us, it's like you can't rely on the government. Like you really got to have, your 3 to 6 months, a year worth of savings just in case something like this were to happen.
Exactly. That you're absolutely right. You would think that people who are like make so much money are millionaires. Like they don't have no money in the stock market. They don't have like no savings. They don't have no like they don't have no 401ks and Roth. Like they just don't got it, and like they don't even know about it. I'm just like, how are you like investing your money? Like how you just like it's coming to you and you just spend it? It's just sitting in the bank, and that's really what it is. They're just not financially like smart. Like you give me $1 million, I'm putting half in the stock market, half into like investing in something else. Like that's what rich people do. That's what wealthy people do. And man, people they just so like I thank God for like my upbringing, because I'm a like a lot of people don't understand, but like I've been like I've been always like hustling and selling things all my whole life, like candy when I was door to door when I was like 10 years old. And
Mhm.
so I already have that business mindset. So I know that in a certain situation, I'm gonna prosper. But yeah, the people need to be savvy. It's definitely humbling for them, because I know that when this is over, they're like, oh snaps, I gotta do this differently.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I really feel bad for people who like suffering and dying, because I have a couple friends whose parents is dying, who literally died from it actually. Um, but I feel like people who was like corporations that was like taking advantage of people and just like capitalizing like hardcore, like Disney, took a large hit. And I'm like, y'all charging people fucking $200 to come in y'all fucking park every day. Like, fuck y'all, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you was just capitalizing hardcore off people, like, and you taking a hit, like, I don't feel bad for you. And I think that this is going to be a humbling experience, like, when this is over for people.
And I think a lot of people are going to pay attention to how, who people who do work in corporate America will pay attention to how companies treated their employees during this time. I think it's going to be a big testament of like, the things they did to help people out. Did they take advantage of them? Like we've seen a lot, like, I know we talk about people not having their stuff together, but a lot of these businesses don't have their stuff together either. And it's just like, y'all always telling people to have money, to save. Y'all don't have nothing either. The government got to bail you out every time something happens.
Yep, that's a fact. They definitely, I feel like contracts, everything is going to change after this. It's going to be like insurance. Like,
yeah,
I need to have insurance in case an epidemic happens. And, because out of the NBA players, I think it was only like, I want to say, if I'm not wrong, like maybe like 10 of them or like 6%. It's either 10 of them or 6% that are still getting paid. Most of the NBA players, they're not getting paid. But it's people like Rich Paul. He's like LeBron James. Like, I think he's like his agent or manager, and he it's something in his contract to make sure he still gets paid even if something like this happened. And many people didn't even negotiate that or know about that.
Yeah.
So he's still getting paid, and everybody that he reps is getting paid. But majority of his NBA players not getting paid right now, and it's crazy. I think everybody about to, incorporate all these different type of concert venues. Like, we still get to keep the money if it gets can't. You know what I mean? Like, artists, like, you still got to pay as if something happens. Like, I feel like everybody about to change this stuff.
What have you seen, like with other actors? I mean, like, what do you think is the best thing that you and your other actors can be doing kind of during this time to get ready for when things open back up?
I think that people can just, like, literally, if you got all the time in the world, like, watch as many movies as possible. Read as many, like, books on the subjects. Like, it's crazy because, like, if you've been in the house for 2 months and supposed to be another month or two at least, like, you should be able to master something, They say it takes, like, 21 days to get over a habit. Like, you should get over a habit, and you should be able to master something. Like, you should be able to write a script, and during this time that you always wanted to write, you should be able to, like, be doing monologues and acting in front of the camera, whatever you passionate about every day. Like, I've been inside, like, really, I've been like laxing a lot, but I'm also like, all right, let me get on it. I've been creating, doing mad paintings. I've been watching as many movies as possible. Like, I've been just to, like, study the craft. And it's just like, yo, we should be able to, like, if you're a musician, you should have a whole album by the time this is over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no way that you should not be able to, and it's perfect. It's really like the best time, the first time in our lives that we had to just be, and just, like, no real crazy obligations. You just have to be, like, you don't have to work. And our bodies are working from the day we born. And it's like, oh, you can just sit at home because nothing is happening.
Exactly. Do you feel like for the people who aren't suffering, the people who are on the front lines, the people who, maybe like us who get to kind of just be home and away from everything, do you feel like there's a sense of community that's being built that we didn't have when everybody was, active and outside, even though we can't physically see people right now?
Do I feel like it's sorry, the question is?
Of community being built that's stronger than when we were even allowed to go outside.
Absolutely. One thing I noticed, like, I used to think I was special, but I'm like, yo, people are special, like, human beings. Like, they are creative as hell. Like, when I'm watching these videos online and these TikToks and people literally just making something out of nothing every time something happens, and I'm talking about the most creative things I've ever seen. I'm like, wow, we as humans are, like, our creativity is limitless, and it's remarkable to see people adjust to these circumstances and be able to just do all these different types of creative stuff due to them being in the house. And, that's when the real creatives are going to thrive, because it's like, yo, you ain't got nothing to do but create at home. So you got to be thinking of all this stuff. I've been seeing all these, challenges, actor challenges, monologue challenges. Everybody's watching and supporting each other's stuff and sending each other stuff. I definitely feel like everybody's more united than ever because, they're more so watching each other and not like, spending like 8 hours a day doing their other work outside of, their phone or whatever.
What are you doing to kind of keep yourself sane?
Oh, I kind of, it's crazy because I'm actually like naturally introverted. So it's really no different than what I was doing. I barely went outside like before this happened. If I wasn't working on set, I didn't even want to go outside. Like I just like to be in a confined environment.
Just you in general?
It's just me. Like people are like, yo, how are you dealing with it? I'm like, this shit like every day for me. Like it's really no difference. Like I stayed at home every day. I would go to an audition and go home for the rest of the day. I did not go anywhere else. I just like to be at home. But I think that now it's like, even for myself, it's like, maybe because I always feel like it's something I need to be doing. If you don't have nothing to do, it's going to suck for you. But I have a whole bookshelf. I'm like, yo, I could be reading one of these books or all of these books. I have paintings to do. I could be doing that. I could be watching something on how to write a script. I could be like trying to write a song. I guess because I always feel like I have something to do that I need to focus. From the day I came out here, I was like, I want to focus on what I came out here to do every day. Like, I don't want to get complacent out here. So yeah, I just been literally every day. It's like learning about the stock market, waking up, meditating, doing a painting, creating some online content for like TikTok or something like that. And just like literally just trying to do a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I think there was all those posts kind of going around saying like, if you don't come out of this with like a side hustle or a business, you didn't lack time, you lacked, what is it, motivation or
Worth it too.
something like that. And I feel like it's a great balance. Like now is the time where I think people can kind of really focus on their mental health. And yeah, catch up on movies and catch up with your friends. And it's a balance of doing that and making sure you're okay and then doing something productive. I don't think people should feel like forced to do something. But obviously you just can't sit on the couch all day. I think it's a good balance of being productive and then just making sure you're taking time to make sure that you're okay mentally.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't see how anybody could not come out of this gaining something. Like what did you do every day? Like did you start an online business? Did you, like something? Like if anything, this should tell you the businesses that are prevailing in these times. Like the businesses that are essential. I always thought in my mind like, yo, I'm gonna invest in a barbershop because ain't no robot gonna replace me getting my haircut. I'm gonna invest in uh, ATMs and put them in people's places and make a profit off of that. I'm investing in laundromats and all that other stuff. And then I'm thinking like I'm gonna invest in a food truck and all that stuff. Then I'm like, all of these businesses is getting affected right now. But I'm like, oh, what is not getting affected? People are buying stuff online. That's why Amazon is like the best because you get everything on there. Like, if you invest in Amazon now, you'll be wealthy, in no time. But I'm like, yo, this business is prevailing because people already prefer to order stuff out online than go into a store and get it, and for convenience. And now that's all they're doing. Gyms, like online gym stuff, like people working out at home and stuff. That's like prevailing right now. These companies and healthcare, like stuff that we always gonna need. So it's like people should like really take this and be like into consideration, in case something like this happens again. So when they go out here, they know the type of businesses they need to operate, rain, hail, sleet, or snow, and be prepared for anything. Because something like this is going to happen again in our lifetime. I'm sure of it. Happens all the time. Like not saying like a pandemic, but like something tragic is going to happen. Some 9/11, something like that is going to happen in no time. But people need to be prepared.
Two last things I want to talk to you about. One is about the pandemic, and then the other one is just off topic. Can you give any advice to other actors out there of what do you think they should be doing, or what would you recommend them to do right now, specifically just to the actors?
What should they do?
Yeah.
Uh, I would say don't panic. Think of all the ways you can make money. Companies that are hiring right now, Amazon, FedEx, these delivery companies, try to get a job, file for unemployment, like EDD. That's what it's called in California. I don't know what it's called in everywhere else.
File for unemployment?
Pardon?
Can actors file for unemployment?
Absolutely. Actors are actually the more, like before this happened, everybody had EDD that was an actor in LA because it's weeks where we don't work. We're self-employed people.
Yeah.
So if you don't work for a week and you didn't work, they will pay you. So it's like, if you work, you just report it. If you didn't work, you report it and they pay you. So that was like the main thing for actors because it's like a self-employment, not really employed type of job. But I'm sure now, like everybody's applying at once. I don't know what it looks like, but I know people who had that like for the past like years, like before even, So I would say apply for that. My friends is getting hired at grocery store, like, it's called Ralph's out here and stuff like that. These are the places that, you should be seeking money. Literally like look in your house. If you're having financial troubles, look in your house, see what's of value that you can sell or something like that, or think of a way. Think of it's a guy named Jack Ma. He created Alibaba. It's like the Asian Amazon, and he has a quote that says, "Opportunity lies where people complain." So if you see people complaining about something or online or something like in mass amounts, then create something that is a resolution for that.
Yeah.
And so people it's going something some crazy businesses is going to be created right now due to this, and it's going to be thriving in the next like 10 years because somebody is thinking of ways to help all these people that they're thinking of a resolution for people's problems.
Right now.
That's how Uber was created.
There was like some quotes going around saying that like a lot of successful business that are like doing really great today, kind of were built when there was like a major crisis going on, or when it was like a lot of issues happening at the same time. So it is going to be interesting to see what is born out of this whole pandemic situation.
Absolutely. Like, absolutely. I can't wait to see it. Like, I'm
I can't imagine, but
yeah. Like, if you, shit, what else say? Like, Uber is like, oh, I'm tired of driving, wasting gas. All right, Uber, we got you. I don't want to go get my food. I want somebody to bring it to me. Postmates, Uber Eats, we got you. It's like people are gonna create something, and it's gonna be extremely beneficial. If you ever wanted to buy a house, this is the time because everything is down.
go down.
People,
Yeah. And people have been waiting for a recession too. Like a friend of mine was like, I've like, and it sounds so bad, but she's like, I really need the recession to come because she wants to buy a property in New York City. And she's like, I can't afford this right now. She said, but I'm just waiting. It's coming soon. And it happens sooner than
I've been literally been saying that for years. I was like, and I know it sounds messed up. I hope like a non-threatening earthquake happens when nobody gets killed, but like it shakes up people's shit, and like because everything is gonna come down to LA, and like
people who got the money can go and buy some
yeah,
property.
this is the perfect time if you're like capitalist, or if you've been saving for a rainy day, if you always wanted to go into the stock market, if you always wanted to buy a house, if you wanted to something like that, like start your business, but you're waiting for everything to go down. This is the time. You
Yeah.
know, our economy is going to go back up. It's always proven. It's a recession every like 10 years, but this is the time over the next year. 2021 is everything is just going to skyrocket up, and people going to wish that they would have did what they need to do.
Yeah. So being from Buffalo, can this is specifically to people in Buffalo or just people who are from, I would say smaller cities, obviously not like New York City or LA. If you could speak to them, what would you say if they want to kind of go out to LA or become an actor or an actress, or even just work in music at a higher level? What kind of advice would you give to them?
Yeah, it's a great question. I feel like I moved out here 6 years ago with like $1 in a dream. I didn't have a bunch of money saved up. I just kind of had like I remember I graduated college and like I had got hired like the next week. I was like I had got hired like a manager at like Hertz or something, and I had a desk and all that, and it was like a cool job, and I was gonna making like a little bit of money, 50, 60K a year, something like that. But then I was just like, yo, I'm gonna be working this job for the next like 20, 30 years, and then I'm retired knowing I had bigger dreams. And so I just like after like a week or two, I just like quit and just like moved to LA, like just put my stuff in the bag and moved. And I took a leap of faith. Like if you take a leap of faith, if God don't catch you, he'll teach you how to fly. I think people just gotta like, if you're really passionate about something, you just gotta go for it. You have your whole life to work. And so don't worry about a regular job. Like I can't believe how many people like just making other people rich. Like really just chase your dreams and get people that support you because we can all prevail. I think coming from Buffalo, it's not a lot of opportunity in the city itself, but it breeds some of the most like crazy, talented people. And I think that gave me a hustle because when I come out here, it's people who've been born in LA their whole life and they don't take advantage of the Hollywood scene or they just get into it and they don't know what to do. If I was born out here, my hustle may not have been as hard because I probably feel like, oh, that's always attainable. That's always something that I can. People don't go to the beach because they feel like they can always go to the beach, you know. So I think that made me hit the ground running when I came out here, like the upbringing I had, and then like just motivation. Like we got those rappers, Westside Gun and Conway and all of them, and it's like the they made it on a massive superstar level. Like I gotta say, they're not like. I mean, we got the biggest thing that comes is like Rick James out of Buffalo,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Brian McKnight. I think he's from like Orchard Park or something, but. I think Griselda, they even doing it on a more massive level. Like they got the co-sign from Jay-Z. They signed like went to a concert in LA and Jay-Z was on the stage in the corner watching them. It's like if that don't inspire you coming from where we're from, it's crazy. Like like that is and all they do is put on for Buffalo. All they got Claire, Claire. They got her on the cover of the album.
I
Like
don't personally know her because I didn't grow up in Buffalo. I just went to school in Buffalo and work. And so when everybody was like, Claire's on the cover, I had no idea who she was. But then I saw people like, oh, Claire's like a crackhead that's always around in the city. And being Niagara Falls, I know some like local Niagara Falls crackheads. So I was like, oh yeah, I understand it.
got you. It was like it was like if you live in the east side of Buffalo, you've seen this woman your entire life. Like she hits every corner. She's always asking for money. And just to see that, like, yo, they put her on the cover. I'm like, yo, these the most Buffalo nigga ever. And they made it mainstream big time, like A-list, like. And so I'm like, yo, that should be all the inspiration you need. Cause I always felt like we needed some spokesperson for our city. We needed somebody to, if we don't have that, we not gonna think it's attainable. But when somebody that come from where you come from make it, then you like, oh, maybe I could. Yeah, maybe I could do this thing. And so I think that gives people hope. Like Buffalo, like all we do is hustle. All we know is hustle. So like I think that like that just gets people to like, yo, you gotta be inspired and motivated and you gotta get it. It's attainable.
You said something earlier, last thing, that you said, I always thought I was special. Do you feel like, did you feel different about yourself than the other people in Buffalo? Like, not that you thought you were better, but do you feel like there's something holding certain people back in Buffalo that is prohibiting them to make it in a big way and like take advantage of how you taken advantage of your time in LA?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I always felt that. Like I always like when I was young, I would be like, I'm a little different. Even my siblings, like I'm one of like 8 children from my mom's side and like one of 6 on my dad's side. And I'm like the black sheep, but in a good way. Like I'm the first in my family to graduate high school, the first in my family to go to college, graduate college. I've always been like very like different. And so I have so many friends that are just limited and just like what they consumed or what they believed. And it's like I know the hood raised you, but it's bigger, better things. You know what I'm saying? And I think people just never had that like mindset. And so I always feel like, yo, I manifested it. I really believe like in manifestation, the power of the mind, because I always seen myself on a billboard, right? I was like, yo, I used to imagine myself having interviews. I was like, I wonder what Charlamagne gonna ask me when I get into the Breakfast Club. Like I really be like having these talks in my head, like and really envisioning it. And I can't believe when I was like, how much of it has come true.
Yeah.
Literally, my face was on a billboard, like with my name, and it was just like, yo, I can't believe it. It's like manifestation.
Elders one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Literally, how I even pictured it. Like, yo, I just want my face on a billboard, like in my mind for years, and it literally happened like that. And I was like, wow, this is limitless. Like if you just really hone in on this and know that it's possible and work toward it every day. I didn't know what I wanted to be in life. I think you have to decide. You can do multiple things, but you have to really lock in on like one thing that you're gonna blossom and grow at and be really good at. Because if you've been rapping for 10 years, you gotta know how to go in a song. I'm not saying you're gonna be a Jay-Z, but like you're gonna know how to go into a studio, make a beat, record it, produce it, mix it. You're gonna know you should know how to do that after you've been mastering it. So I was like, I'm going to lock in on just one thing. I'm going to focus on the acting thing. I never knew what I was going to do. I know it's going to be an entertainment or something, but I was like, I'm going to do this and just this, and I'm going to do it well, and I'm going to do it all the time. And the more you do something, the better you get. It wasn't just out the gate for me, but it was just I was so consistent that you don't got no choice but to go up and get better.
Brandon, do you still feel special? Like now you're in LA, probably with a bunch of other people who said I'm special, from where I'm from, and they go to LA. Do you still feel that way being in that, whole bubble?
It's funny because I was just telling my friend this. I was like, no, like LA is humbling. Like it's where the best.
Just Hollywood, not even like this whole industry will really humble you.
Right. I was like, I used to think, oh, I'm gonna go out to LA. I'm gonna just walk around. I'm gonna just walk around, and some Hollywood directors like, I want you in my movie. Like it does not work like that. And when you go to auditions, you'll see how many of you there is. Like I used to feel out like I was special, and then I go to audition, and I'm like, damn, I'm looking at 20 me's, all auditioning for the same role. In their mind, we all the same, young black male, certain height, certain, look. Like, I'm like, oh, wow, we not so special. Like somebody might say, oh, you should model wherever you at. And then you go to a major city and try to go out to these modeling agencies, and they like,
the damn same.
nah, we got you. You thought she was special. Look at this roster right here.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's humbling for sure.
What do you think? And I swear this is the last thing because I said that before. So what do you think is that thing that allows people to make it then? If you feel like you're special, but you go to Hollywood and we all, feel this kind of way about ourselves, what do you think is that factor where some people are able to make it and others are not?
I don't think that like greatness is like this this esoteric thing that only like a few people get, I think that literally is like something that exists in everybody. Literally everybody. We all as human beings are on the same frequency. How many times do people think of something and somebody else did it? It's like we all thinking of the same things. We all have the capacity to achieve the same things. So I think that people just need to like, wait, sorry, can you say a question one more time?
Why do you think, even though we all feel like we're special out in Hollywood, why do you think some people really make it to the level that they want and others do not?
Oh, okay. So and they, I believe that those people make it because they just didn't quit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's people. This is how Hollywood works. You can either come out here, get super lucky, and pop like that first audition. Like I seen it, or you can come out here, grind for 10 years, and then pop. So it's like the people who make it are the people who never quit. They never gave up. Mm-hmm. Pretty much everybody you see that's successful, pretty much like you'll go see like, oh, you will start seeing Michael B. Jordan in movies. Like, oh, this guy's really doing this thing. He blew up pretty fast. And then not knowing that he was doing The Wire at 14 years old, like as a kid or something like that. Like you have to, like anybody who's making music, you go look like, I went to a Benny the Butcher concert when I was 14 years old, in Buffalo, and this dude is like probably late 30s, 40s now, but he signed with Jay-Z and he's like, they're like the biggest rappers now. So I'm like, yo, the more that like if you do something for so long, you gotta get good at it. You consistent with it. And that's just the main difference between like them and everybody else. Most people quit. Some people quit or they go harder. But you gotta decide which one you're gonna be.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Brandon. I'm glad we finally got to, like chop it up and talk, because I feel like I've been trying to connect with you for so long. And we never we met each other, but never we don't really know each other. We went to Buff State, but I didn't even know you. I think I saw you once in LA. So we don't even really know each other. So thank you so much for just chatting with me. I really do appreciate it.
No
And
problem. I gotta show the hometown love.
stay safe out there in LA. I'm gonna stay safe here in Atlanta. These people don't care. They just do whatever they want to do out here. So make sure I stay safe. So
You did a great job too. I think this is like you honing in on your craft. You do a great job interviewing. I think you might have a big future in this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I always wanted to do this, and then I just got swept up in film, and I love it too. But like you say, you don't have to just do one thing. So this has taken me quite far, the film industry. But yeah, I still love interviewing people and talking to people. So, I'm still keep doing both.
Right. There you go.
Thank you, Brandon, though. I'll catch up with you soon. Hopefully once this whole situation is over, and if I make it back to LA, we can actually, meet up in person. But stay safe. Thank you. Keep putting on for Buffalo. It definitely does help when people can see people from the same area they're from doing things that they want to do. It feels like you can actually achieve it. So it definitely does help. So we appreciate it.
I just want to say one thing. It's crazy because you know how they be having that 30 under 30 in Buffalo.
Yes.
They'll never nominate me.
Listen, that it's probably because you're not there.
Yo, I used to think that. I was like, oh, maybe because I moved to LA. T Jizzle, he live in LA. He been moved out of Buffalo. My boy Ken, my frat brother, he created Duce Palooza, Henny Palooza. I'm like, oh, okay, y'all picking and choosing. These people flying in to do this. I was like, okay. I'm like, so they don't see me, but it's all good. They sleeping on me. It's all good. But
you got beef with them or something, Brandon?
I don't got beef with them. Every time I make a post, I'm like, how y'all not nominate me? Y'all have awards in Buffalo, and nobody has.
I'm gonna nominate you and be like, yo, what?
I mean, I feel like by the time I get nominated, I'm not even gonna want to come. I'll be like, I don't want to nominate me.
I don't care anymore. This is beneath me now. I don't care.
It's not even right. It's not even the fact that I feel like I'm deserving of something, but I'm just like, y'all giving out awards for people under 30 in our hometown that have achieved this.
Nah, Brandon probably I know I did way more than them, and how they get no award.
In a humble way, I don't want to knock nobody, but I definitely, it's people who I'm just like, what? You know what I did? I moved to Hollywood with no money. I've been on billboards, TV shows, commercials. It's all good though. But yeah, I just want to make it big and just put the city on. I got so much stuff I want to do for the city. I just when I reach that level, I can even start doing it now, but when I really reach that level, I want to do what Drake is to Toronto. I want to be like that to Buffalo.
Yeah.
I want to bring opportunities and travel and tourism to the city. I want to put people on in the city. I want to put film and stuff there. I mean, even though it's already, kind of there now, but I just want to do a lot. And so that's my goals in the future. I want to be more, locked in with the city and stuff like that. Because it's the city that made me. And I'm going to leave people with this quote. Never let success get to your head, and never let failure get to your heart. Live by those words, you'll be fine.
Repeat it one more time for the people so they can hear it again.
Never let success get to your head, and never let failure get to your heart.
And we're going to finish on that note. Thank you so much, Brandon. Stay safe out there, all right?
No problem. Peace out.
Bye.